Hello. Here.
Have you voted here before?
No.
No. Okay, well, go down to where it says voting, take a right, and they'll help you out in there.
Hello, what is your last name?
And vouch.
I'm sorry?
Vouch.
She's vouching?
I vouch.
Oh, for her? And is she Genevieve?
No.
So are you wanting to vote first?
She's gonna have to make a phone call.
Yes. But can she vote if I vouch?
No, good luck.
Does she live within this precinct?
Yes.
Yep, we can get her registered. Okay. So are you wanting to vote first though?
Yes, but vouch for her.
Okay.
So she vote. So if I vouch, she votes.
Okay.
Hi.
Is that right?
Yep.
Can I vote without ID?
Yes, if you're already in the system,
Okay.
then you can vote.
Ooh.
If you're already in the system.
Dude, it's just crazy. I mean, I think they should dress up as superheroes and come in, because the Burqa guy clearly was a man with his voice and man hands, and it didn't really matter. Nothing mattered. The only thing that they were concerned with was letting anybody on the planet Earth vote in that primary.
Question. Do you think their security might have upped a tick if, like, say, a MAGA hat was involved?
Oh, dude, they would have demanded birth certificates at that point. They would have had you spread eagle on the floor with a proctologist flown in from Minneapolis and the Somali medical community. Higby said when he walked in with the burqa, they were effusive and more welcoming to him than any other person in the precinct. In other words, they were overjoyed to have this phony woman that you couldn't identify with slits for eyes come into their precinct. It was almost like he was a rock star, he said.
I encourage everybody to, definitely check that out. I didn't want to go too deep into all of it, but, this is what made James O'Keefe famous. Remember, he went into undercover for Andrew Breitbart for the Acorn event back in like 2009.
Yeah, he destroyed Acorn.
Yeah, and literally they did shut down that whole organization after his work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see him, back at it again with the camera. Somebody asked, are cameras allowed? I don't know. I guess they are.
That was a hidden camera.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like in California, he'd probably get dinged for it or, whatever. Like even Nick Shirley knows Nick Shirley's walking around with an actual camera. He's about it. He's got a crew.
Well, the Nick Shirley Act now forbids you from filming with a regular camera. Corruption, it says.
Right, because the hidden camera, it wasn't enough to stop that.
Right. An actual camera. I mean, like I said before on this show, Mike Wallace wouldn't have a career if it was based on California law today at 60 Minutes.
In the news lately, across the pond, there's been a giant DEI story.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really talked about it a lot. A lot of people have reached out to me on the side and different things, but it is a former professor now by the name of Jason Arday.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Arday, the former Cambridge University professor accused of plagiarism, has been found dead today. Now, this guy his story has kind of been the DEI cover story, where he is the youngest ever Cambridge professor. Apparently, as a kid, he was an autistic, unable to speak, had a huge, arc of a story of overcoming that, becoming getting his degree and then becoming a professor. He has a book coming out. I don't know if it's actually come out, but in the galleys, people were just shredding him for a lot of claims, like running
the 600 miles
in like a handful of days, when you're like the ultra runners of the world. There's no way they were going to run. Anyway, he obviously exaggerated a ton of claims, but this one has really caught on. like nothing I had seen before. The Telegraph, all kinds of news organizations went after him, and it kind of has a tragic ending. He was found dead today. I don't know the reason. It's all speculation, but the way people were piling on and the way this story had so many legs, I had a bad feeling that it might not come out well. And I kind of feel terrible about the situation.
You do?
Yeah, in a way, because I mean, obviously he did a lot, he brought on a lot of shame for himself, but the story has grown to pretty big proportions. And
I think the flip side of the story is the black school superintendent down in Texas. This guy is a hero. This guy's an American hero, and he is only the first teacher to ever do this, to simply break the cone of silence and come out and tell the truth about what's going on.
So I am on my lunch break. It is, I don't know, 11:30 or something like that. And I just finished a 3-hour class. We have what's called block, and block is where first and second periods are combined for subjects that need it. And so I literally broke down in the middle of class because I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish. We had 2 paragraphs to read, 1 sentence complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the model. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words.
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal, and he's a hero for coming out and saying what has been happening in every inner city school in the country. There's a ban of silence by these teachers who are getting paid enormous amounts of money, over $100,000 a year in many cases. They work, obviously they're off in the summer, but many of them know the truth that he is talking about and refuse to say anything about it. This is a guy that I love compared to the guy from Cambridge, who I feel nothing for, positive or negative.
I do feel for the guy, and let me explain why, because I think this guy's a hero. I think that the guy from Cambridge is one of the poor students that this guy is talking about.
Oh, probably true.
And
probably
the system itself put him in there and then addressed it. So that's where I'm saying the tragedy is. This Jason Arday, I think, was misserved by the system, rewarding him for something he didn't do.
We would have to.
This guy, sadly, is going to, be ignored by the same system, and he's talking
not just ignored, attacked.
Got an A grade.
He was attacked viciously, Eric.
Of course they will.
And I didn't see that coming, and neither did he.
Obviously, a bad situation. But then, going to private schools and having a great education, that doesn't mean you're going to come out okay, too. I'm willing to bet that this next headline, Luigi Mangione pleads guilty in killing of UnitedHealthcare boss Brian Thompson as his widow sobs in court. I shot Mr. Thompson.
Well, you have to add that I shot Mr. Thompson because my back hurt. He gave an explanation as for his motivation. He said he had a bad back. And that's why he shot and killed him. That's how weak this generation is, where if anything causes them discomfort, they will go to the extreme of killing a man with a wife and kids, because this particular guy who had incredible wealth behind him, the idea that he struggled with healthcare costs is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And his reasoning that he had a chronic backache makes it almost laughable if it wasn't so sick.
I agree. And he even talked about how he called in to figure out where he was, lured him out.
Yep.
But that's you see, this is what I was complaining about with Kohberger. That's an allocution. He couldn't just plea and say, okay, yeah, I didn't know. It was like, what did you do? How did you do that? I think that's a very important factor, because then later on he can't say, oh, they were just stupid or whatever. His voice to the world in the court said that I did it, whatever lame reason it might be. I'm also glad, and he's already acknowledged, he's looking at life without parole on the federal side. Whatever happens with the state, at least the son of a bitch is in prison.
Well, it eliminates jury nullification. It eliminates his groupies. It eliminates his high-paid lawyers. There was no other way for this case to end other than a plea deal. I'm surprised the state and the feds gave him a plea deal instead of going to the max on this case. But I guess that's the current state of affairs.
Well, they tried. The feds did, and it got thrown out because they were trying for the death penalty. And I think he said he pled out to get life in prison because, from what I understand, if a felon has to choose between a state prison and a federal prison, the federal time is much better than the state time.
The point I'm trying to make is his plea now it negates that they never should have taken the death penalty off the table. In other words, the judge did that by now him saying he was laying in wait, planning premeditated murder. Every single thing he said indicates the need and the perfect case for the death penalty.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, he just undermined the judge in the case taking the death penalty off the table by saying, I premeditatedly killed this man. I mean, it makes a sham of a mockery of a sham of the judge.
It does, but it was a weird case because the federal charge was stalking, technically, because the killing is actually the state charge. So they managed to at least get the stalking elevated all the way up, but they tried to kind of do a felony murder charge by tying it to the stalking to do the state case.
My question is, what justifies the death penalty in the state of New York, if not this? Why do you even have it on the books if a case of this magnitude does not warrant the death penalty? What does?
Well, I agree.
What does?
In New York, they don't even have first-degree murder unless you kill a cop. You're the one that told me that, right?
Well, no. That's kind of an urban rule of thumb. That's not the law. But I mean, it may be the law. Maybe I'll take that back. Maybe it is the law.